in the discharge of his duties, and so the governmental wants to lean this for his own. This is where we have our regular Tuesdays and Thursday press briefing, and we encourage head of entities to make use of this platform. This platform is a testimony by the president of this nation, the first president to sit on the platform and address the press, His Excellency Ambassador Josiah. No president has done that. And so we want to encourage the head of entity to make use of the platform to explain government policy and program to the people in Liberia and the diaspora. With that said, I'd like to invite the presiding officer, Honorable Daniel Sando. Honorable Sando will make his introductory comments, after which he will officially introduce to you our guest, Mr. Sando.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press. It is again a pleasing duty to mount this podium here at the Charles William Conference Hall at the Ministry of Information to speak to the people of Liberia via the mass media. We once again like to stand on existing protocol to welcome all of you, members of the Liberian media, our visiting guests. Today we have a full house. The executive chairperson of the, first we have a delegation from the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, headed by its executive chairperson, Councillor Alexandra. She's here purposely to make a very brief announcement. As you all know, the asset declaration regime is in full swing. There was a deadline issued to officials of government. That deadline has elapsed, and of course, the executive chairperson of the LACC is here to make a very brief, concise, but important announcement to the Liberian public. We also have in our midst a delegation from the Bureau of State-Owned Enterprises. That delegation is headed by my own friend and big brother, Arthur Massaquoi. Part of that delegation includes folks from the Ministry of State, and I see the legal advisor to the President, the Honorable Bujube Keita. I see Assistant Minister George Marshall. They all come from the Ministry of State. Accompanied by the delegation from the state-owned enterprises. We have folks from the Governance Commission. The Governance Commission delegation is headed by Commissioner Siaka S. Joa. They are here to speak to you on matters of national importance. And after they made their presentation, you members of the press will be given the opportunity to interact with them. And of course, before I go to my remarks, we have the hard-working Director General of the Civil Service Agency, who is no visitor to this platform. As a matter of fact, I think he's one of the heads of agency that have made maximum use of the MICAT press briefing. So, Honorable Josiah, Joekai, we'd like to welcome you to this edition of the MICAT regular press briefing. on behalf of our minister, the Honorable Jeremy Pierre, who is accompanying the President to the People's Republic of China, where they are attending the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation. We'd like to recognize Acting Minister Johnny Tapa and members of the senior management team of the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism that are present in this hall. Before we take our first speaker, I've been authorized to make the following remarks on behalf of the Government of Liberia through the Ministry of Information. The President and his team arrived in Beijing, China as guests of the Government of the People's Republic of China to attend the 9th edition of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation. The President arrived yesterday, Wednesday, September 4th, and was greeted by an honor guard along with high-level officials of the Chinese government and a display of Chinese cultural performances. The President and entourage were treated with a state banquet, which was also held in honor of the visiting African leaders, and they were welcomed by Chinese President Xi Jinping and First Lady Peng Liyuan. The delegation will engage in a series of high-level talks today and tomorrow at the forum, and of course Liberia's arrest agenda is high on President Waga's agenda. Areas of cooperation that the President will be seeking to emphasize at the gallery include agriculture, trade, investment, infrastructure, education, technology, electricity, and of course, cultural change, with which His Excellency and delegation will, as they continue to make representation on behalf of our beloved country across the world. The Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism as a sector ministry for all media entities in Liberia notes that the timeline has been released for a rerun of the November 2022 elections of the Press Union of Liberia. The election will now take place on Saturday, September 21st at the Samuel Kayando Sports Complex in Painesville. We understand that it is a rerun, so the context will be between just the previous contending parties or candidates. Series of activities are lined up leading to the election day, including the release of provisional membership roster for verification from today, September 5th, to next Tuesday, September 10th. The final membership roster will be released next Saturday, September 14th, and thereafter the campaign will begin on 16th September. The results are expected on the same day, and hopefully, by any other mishap, the press union new leadership going out of that election will be inducted on 30th September 2024. The media, it has to be emphasized, is a partner to the government, and any crisis in the parent body is not good for our democracy. It is a hope of the government that outstanding issues will be resolved and a new leadership will take over after the election. We look forward to continue partnership with the media through its parent body, the Press Union of Liberia. At the same time, we are siding by reports of the sudden death of journalist Timothy Cllr, formerly of Inquirer newspaper and the Independent Inquirer, which he funded. Mr. Cllr was dedicated and committed journalist who worked diligently in the execution of his profession. He will be sorely missed. We follow social media campaign, negative social media campaign intended to paint the government in a negative way. The latest one stemmed from an officer who sustained injuries from the Total fire incident. This officer, prior to the inception of this administration, was abandoned at JFK. When the new police RG took over, he visited victims of the incident that occurred in December of last year, and this police officer was identified with. After he was partially discharged from JFK, the police, on its own initiative, went on to support him in seeking further medical attention. As a result of that initiative, an assessment was done on his condition by an Indian doctor resident in Liberia, and it was recommended for him to be taken out of the country for further medical treatment. Now, there is a very big hospital in India that has a feeder hospital in Liberia, and they did the assessment. And the bill for his treatment was initially put at $19,000. The current administration of the LNP, carried by Colonel Gregor Como, raised that money, funded his plane ticket, his entire travel, along with a caretaker, and the officer is in India, currently seeking medical attention. When he got in India, this parent hospital did an assessment and they said that the initial cost of the treatment was underestimated. And so they put the cost at $57,000. The authorities of the LNP didn't hesitate. They negotiated with the hospital in India and it reached a $47,000 resolution. So it amounts, the initial amount, $19,000, from what was resolved between the hospital and the LNP authority. There's an outstanding amount of $28,000. As we speak, arrangements for payment to be made this week are concluding, and the first phase of that amount will be transferred to the hospital in India. Now, some of our friends who are very idle, for reasons best known to themselves, will take to social media and say, the man has been abandoned, the government doesn't care about him. That information is wrong, it's misleading, and for some of us who are helping to manage government communications, we are concerned about the image of the government. But these malicious and slanderous campaigns are being spread out on social media, on the radio station. We always want to go a step further to encourage members of the press. You are our partners. Encourage members of the press to verify what you publish. If the government of Liberia through the LNP didn't care for the well-being of this officer, they wouldn't have invested meager resources, scarce resources, in transporting him and the family member who is a caretaker out of Liberia to India. You have no idea what it costs to buy a plane ticket from Liberia to India. Talk less about two persons that you're going to be sponsoring while they stay in India. So that information is far-fetched, it's misleading. The LNP, the government of Liberia, stands ready to identify with any member of the joint security who sustained injuries in the execution of their duties. The other day we were here, when some people decided to take matters into their own hands, and obstructed officers of the DEA and the LNP from enforcing the arrest of a notorious drug lord. That resistance led to several officers on the LNP and DEA sustaining injuries. Some of them are currently seeking treatment, and some are now recovering from the injuries they sustained in that. The government has always been on the record for identifying with our officers. And we have to desist from politicizing the pain that somebody is going through. It doesn't learn you any pecuniary benefit when you go on social media to politicize the condition of somebody who, in the exercise of his duty and commitment to his country, sustains such terrible injury. I just want to make that point. Lastly, before we take the LACC, the government attention is drawn to reports of tension, rising tension in Banga City, Bong County, over the relocation of the market in that area. The central government urges calm in this situation and calls on the local authorities to resolve the matter peacefully. Violence and protests project a picture of instability and insecurity. We will not be able to develop our country and invite others to come here and join us to invest when everything we do is about violent protestation. Liberia needs investment to deal with economic issues that we face. In order to do so, we have to be very mindful that nobody will be willing to invest his money, his resources in a country that is constantly portrayed as a chaotic nation. We have repeatedly called on citizens to be very peaceful in seeking resolution to whatever issues that they may have. Violence cannot be the way forward. That being said, let me now invite the Executive Chairperson of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, Councilor Alexandra. She will make a brief announcement, and then she has a very important engagement with some of our international partners. After that announcement, she will leave. Whatever question you have, she and I will compare notes, and we will be able to address those questions. Councilor Zul.
Thank you very much. Officials of government here present, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Councilor Alexandra, the Executive Chairperson of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. Today, the LACC, in fulfillment of a critical promise we made to the Liberian people, which is the publication of asset declaration report for all government officials required to declare their assets and liabilities in keeping with law, is being executed. The purpose and objective of asset declaration exercise is to promote transparency, to prevent corruption, to build public trust within government. In the just ended exercise, the LACC witnessed varying levels of participation and compliance amongst government officials. While a significant number of officials submitted their declarations, some did not comply with the legal requirements to declare their assets. During the asset declaration exercise, which was initiated on May 2nd, 2024, with the deadline set at July 31st, 2024, during our exercise, the LACC, in fulfillment of the rule of law components or the rule of law pillar of the government of the Republic of Liberia's arrest agenda, also in addition to the asset declaration forms, provided copy of National Integrity Pledge to be executed by every official of government who went to the LACC to declare their assets. After the July 31st deadline, in August of 2024, the LACC, we did a press conference to bring the public to speed as to the statistics of the July 31st deadline, the exercise that took place. And I would just like to reiterate what we said in our August press conference. So during the exercise, the LACC identified 1,900 public officials and employees of government who are required to declare their assets. We stated that as at July 31st, 2024, only 26.5% of the 1,900 individuals identified were in compliance, and that left us with 73.5% that was non-compliant. We broke it down into the three branches of government. We said that in the legislative branch of government, we identified a total of 73 representatives, elected representatives. We said that as at July 31st, 26 representatives were in compliance with the asset declarations, and leaving 47 representatives non-compliant. During our July 31st, through our press conference, we said that as at July 31st, we identified 56 administrative staff of the House of Representatives. We also stated that as at July 31st, out of the 56, only one staff from the 56 staff that were identified was in compliance. Still in the legislative branch, we stated that in the Liberian Senate, we identified a total number of 30 elected senators. Out of the 30 elected senators, 12 were in compliance with the asset declaration, and 18 was non-compliant. As at July 31st, 2024, we stated that we identified 44 administrative staff of the Liberian Senate that are required to declare the asset. As at July 31st, 2024, none were in compliance. In the executive branch of government, we identified 1,281 officials who are required to declare their assets. As of July 31st, 2024, we stated that 322, I repeat, 322 were in compliance, which left us with 959 non-compliant. In addition to these officials, this number represents officials appointed. But in addition to the officials appointed, we also recognize and identify 84 staff who are required to declare assets. And just for clarification, I mean, if you are a controller or procurement person, or just an individual working within government, you are responsible, or you partake in tendering, you partake in issuance of various forms of licenses, you are required to declare your asset in keeping with the code of conduct. So, as of July 31st, 2024, the total number of declarants within the executive branch was 406. In the judiciary branch, we stated that of 333 persons identified to declare in the judiciary branch, only 29 declared their assets. And this 29 included 7 judges and 22 administrative staff. We concluded the exercise with these statistics. Meanwhile, for the period August 1st to August 31st, while in the process of preparing our asset declaration reports, we still left the room open for additional asset declaration. And what we did is to divide the report into the different stages. So this report that we're about to put out, you would notice that we divided it. We said people who declare within the July 31st deadline, they are there, and people who declare after the July 31st deadline within August 1st to August 31st, they are there. And I just want to give the stats for August 1st to August 31st. I begin with the legislative branch. From the period August 1st to August 31st, we received only 3 asset declarations from members of the Liberian Senate. And this number is inclusive of 1 senator and 2 administrative staff. For the House of Representatives, we received only 2 asset declarations, and this was from administrative staff. For the executive branch, for the period August 1st to August 31st, we received an additional of 245 asset declaration from the executive branch. And let me clarify that this number actually largely came from local government officials. They were not really aware of the process, and so we allowed them to come to town and do their declaration. And so they formed this 245 number. For the judiciary branch, between the period August 1st to August 31st, we received an additional of 287 asset declarations. As of today's date, out of the 1,900 persons that the LACC identified, and I'd like to clarify, I said identified because this will not be the full amount. We have people who are still working, we have directors, we have controllers who have still not declared their assets. But as at July 31st, out of the 1,900 that we identified, which we extended the asset declaration period up to August 31st, we received a total of 1,008 asset declaration, which constitutes 53% of the number that were in compliance, and non-compliance constitutes 892 that were non-compliance, I repeat, and it constitutes 46%. The next step, what we have done as at July 31st, we had forwarded the asset declaration report along with recommendations to the relevant authorities, and these recommendations include dismissal, sanctions, which include dismissals from office for non-compliance, withholding of salary for non-compliance, demotion for non-compliance, suspension from duty until you comply. So today, I would like to just inform the public that the full listing for asset declaration for public officials for the year 2024, from January 2024 to August 31st, 2024, has been placed on the LACC website. The LACC website is www.lacc.gov.lr. I repeat, www.lacc.gov.lr. Please make use of the website. The reports are there. We have been putting all our reports, our quarterly reports, our financials, asset declaration reports. They are all there. We want to, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners of the LACC, thank the government of the Republic of Liberia through the Ministry of Information for affording us the opportunity to be able to make use of this platform. The LACC is poised and continue and ready to ensure that the fight against corruption is a battle that is won in Liberia. I thank you.
Many thanks to the Executive Chairperson of the LACC, There you have it. You heard it for yourself. The list of officials of government who are in compliance with the asset declaration regime has been published, and that list can be found on the LACC website. We will now invite to the podium Mr. Massaquoi from the Bureau of State-Owned Enterprises to make his presentation. You don't need it. You got my
Well, good afternoon to all. It's just a good feeling being in here today because I'm no stranger here. Having served as Deputy Minister of Information in 1998, and I also served here as a consultant. So I'm no stranger here. But before I proceed, I would like us to just give a moment of silence for our former colleague, Charles Bayon, who died on mysterious circumstances. Thank you. Fellow colleagues, members of the Fourth Estate, and all those who are listening in Radio Land under my voice. Let me first of all extend thanks and appreciation to the MICAT family for giving me this opportunity to appear on this great and widely listened to platform to bring the Liberian populace up to speed on the workings of the Bureau of State Enterprises and the state of affairs of the SOE sector since the inception of my administration as Director General. The BSE was established by the Interim National Assembly Decree No. 8 in 1985 to provide oversight for state-owned enterprises in Liberia. Therefore, the core function of the BSE is to advise the government of Liberia on all matters relating to the formulation and administration of SOEs. As the oversight authority for SOEs, the BSE is responsible for providing strategic leadership for SOEs and advising the government on policies that affect SOEs. As part of its statutory functions, the Bureau is responsible for ensuring the improved performance of SOEs by designing and implementing billing and collection systems for SOEs, as well as a performance management system to ensure that they meet their statutory obligations to the Liberian people. The Bureau has... Ladies and gentlemen of the press, let me inform you that when I took over as Director General of the BSE, I met the Bureau in a complete state of operational dormancy, a state of affairs attributed to the lack of political will to strengthen its authority and operational capacity. Due to the lack of political will, the Bureau has found it difficult over the years to exert itself as an influential oversight authority for SOEs and is challenged in executing its functions effectively. This has affected the BSE's ability to effectively monitor the operations and performance of SOEs to ensure accountability and transparency in their operations. Key amongst constraints confronting the BSE's oversight of SOEs is the existing weak legal and regulatory frameworks for the oversight of the governance of SOEs. The BSE's statutory authority is unclear in existing legal and regulatory frameworks, while some SOE foundational laws are also inconsistent with the PFM law and the BSE decree. A clear governance framework and an efficient monitoring system for SOEs are also lacking. These are the main issues that have made it difficult for the BSE to establish itself as an influential authority, oversight authority for SOEs, thus leading to the weak oversight of SOEs for years. Consequently, non-compliance, lack of accountability, and waste and abuse of resources across state-owned enterprises are prevalent, thereby affecting the effective delivery of core public services and hence undermine national growth and development. Let me say without mincing words that many of our SOEs are marred with mismanagement and abuse of resources they control to provide services to Liberians. The heads of many SOEs feel that they do not owe accountability to the Liberian people, who are the owners of the enterprises they head. Therefore, they deliberately fail to submit their operational reports to the BSE for consolidation and publication to the public in flagrant violation of the PFM laws. This is because the existing laws do not specifically provide sanctions for heads of SOEs when they violate the laws. Considering these issues and the significance of a well-functioning and efficient state enterprise sector, coupled with the political will that the BSE currently enjoys under the Unity Party-led government, the present management team of the Bureau has taken a robust posture to ensure transparency and accountability in the operations of state-owned enterprises in order to enhance their contribution to the national growth and development of Liberia. SOEs have the potential to contribute more to our domestic revenue envelope if they are managed efficiently. Let me repeat. SOEs have the potential to contribute more to our domestic revenue envelope if they are managed efficiently. Over the last 5 months, the team at the BSE has been engaged with the full reactivation of the BSE and addressing the existing legal, institutional, and governance challenges that currently affect the effective oversight of SOEs. Therefore, we have crafted a detailed transitional plan that provides a roadmap to address strategic reforms in the SOE sector over the next 3 to 4 years. The targeted reforms are geared towards ensuring the effective oversight and governance of SOEs to boost their contribution to domestic revenue mobilization and national development. The reforms will address the following priority areas. 1, strengthening the legal and regulatory frameworks that will support the development of corporate governance and operational policies for SOEs. 2, improving the governance and efficiency of SOS individually and as a sector by designing and creating sectoral corporate governance and operational policies. 3, developing a robust enterprise information system for the sector to enhance the monitoring of SOEs to ensure transparency in their operations and promote their accountability to the public. And 4, strengthening the institutional capacity of the BSE to enhance the effective monitoring of SOEs. The first and most important process in harmonizing and strengthening the legal and regulatory framework for SOEs is the transitioning of the foundational law of the BSE from a decree to an act. The BSE, through its legal team, has drafted the act and is currently engaged with the Law Reform Commission, LRC, and the Office of the President of the Republic of Liberia on the repeal of the INA Decree 8 and the subsequent legislation of the BSE Act. The BSE Act will serve as a foundation for the development of sector regulations for SOEs and provide a strong basis for improving corporate governance and performance of SOEs. The Act will clarify the authority of the BSE and reinforce its independence to discharge its statutory mandate. The enhanced legal and regulatory framework will set the basis for the development of corporate governance and operational policies to address all governance and operational issues across SOEs. Good governance and management of SOEs are critical to improvement in the efficiency of the operations and the reduction of costs to the government. Currently, Liberia has no consolidated corporate governance policy document to guide the governance and management of SOEs. The existing corporate governance requirements are found in the foundational laws and other internal policies of individual SOEs. This has resulted in inconsistent governance and operational practices across SOEs, leading to widespread fiscal indiscipline in the sector. The structure and composition of SOE boards, the remuneration of the boards and management, and the recruitment, hiring, and dismissal of employees differ from SOE to SOE. Some of these governance and management weaknesses are also confirmed in the World Bank 2023 Governance and Fiscal Risk Assessment Survey report on the sector. For the first time, all heads and board chairpersons of SOEs were brought together under one roof with our partners to discuss the findings in the World Bank report on the sector and key issues within the sector's annual aggregate performance report for 2023, prepared under my supervision as Director General. To address the varying governance practices and structural weaknesses in governance and management of SOEs, the BSE is currently engaged with the Governance Commission for the review of all governance policies across SOEs. The process with the GC is intended to document all governance gaps, to develop governance and operational policies that will harmonize the management and governance practices across all SOEs. This will help to address the many issues of financial impropriety and fiscal indiscipline in the sector. Meanwhile, in our efforts to drive these reforms, we are engaged with development partners, including the World Bank, the African Development Bank, USAID Liberia, and the International Monetary Fund, IMF, who see the BSE's effort as a welcoming action and have pledged their unwavering support to help ensure accountability and transparency in the functionaries of SOEs. while we are in process of addressing reforms in the sector. We also remain engaged with SOEs on critical national development issues to ensure that they deliver on their mandates in a transparent and accountable manner in an ardent effort to mitigate fiscal risks to the government fiscal position. Just yesterday, we requested all SOEs to submit their debt profiles for analysis as a part of their fiscal risk assessment to support the preparation of the 2025 budget annex for the sector. The SOEs were also requested to submit to the BSE by the 20th of September their budget proposals for 2025 for analysis, consolidation, and submission to the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning based on the request of the Department of Budget and the Ministry of Finance. Ladies and gentlemen of the press and the public, over the past few days, there have been speculations in the public about the BSE receiving a mandate from the President of the Republic of Liberia to review the compensation packages of the management of SOEs. Let me use this opportunity to provide clarity on this issue. The Office of the President mandated the BSE to conduct a comprehensive review of the compensation packages of SOE boards, including boards of commissioners under the purview of the Bureau. The objective of the review was to assess the fairness, consistency, and compliance of those compensations with established guidelines and policies governing compensations extended to board members. A review was concluded and the report was submitted to the Office of the President. Due to the current capacity challenge of the BSE, the review covered 18 out of the total of 46 operational SOEs. Of the 18 entities engaged, only 9 of them complied with the review process, including the LACC, the LPRC, LACC, Water and Sewer, NTA, LTC, LACC, and NASCO. This level of non-compliance from SOEs speaks directly to some of the key challenges that the BSE is striving to address in the SOE sector reform initiatives by strengthening the legal, regulatory, and governance frameworks for the oversight of SOEs. As the BSE embarks on its sector reform journey, we also look forward to the support of all SOE stakeholders and other state actors for the effective implementation of our proposed strategic reforms to strengthen the governance and oversight of the SOE sector as a means of curbing waste and leakages in the sector. As you may be aware, the President issued a statement just yesterday mandating the management of the BSE and the NGC to collaborate in formulating a comprehensive corporate governance policy that will address the existing gaps and bypasses in the sector and harmonize SOE's performance and operations. The President's mandate to the BSE and GC reflects the government's commitment to driving sector-wide reforms, ensuring efficiency, and fostering an environment of accountable governance within state enterprises. Let me say thank you to His Excellency, Joseph Joekai, President of the Republic of Liberia, for the political will extended to the Bureau as we all endeavor to strengthen transparency and accountability in fostering the goals of the arrest agenda for inclusive development. Thank you. But before I take my seat, I'd like to take this opportunity to inform you that prior to the mandate that was issued by the President, the BSE had already started engagement with the Governance Commission. And so a technical committee has been established, joint technical committee has been established by the BSE and the Governance Commission, and I'd like to just introduce the joint committee members. From the Bureau of State Enterprises is headed by my able deputy for operations, Honorable Museveni for deputy auditor general for operations. And we have our legal consultant here, Captain Samuel Pearson. From the Governance Commission side, we have Madame Siaka. She is the lead person from the Governance Commission. And we also have Councillor Stanley Patlin. And then last but not least, we have Mr. Stephen Molba. He's a policy analyst at the Governance Commission. So as you guys, I know most of you want to know, we're making 15,000 and whatever. But the technical issues, the two focal persons can always come in, to address some of these issues. So I want to thank you very much for the attention, and I look forward to your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Arthur Massaquoi from the Bureau of State-Owned Enterprises. While Mr. Massaquoi was in flight, we received in audience the Director General of the President's Cabinet, the Honorable Nathaniel Kwabo. So MICAT is a place to be today. We are making the news, and we are happy to have all of you, members of the press, helping us to reach out to the Liberian people via a respected medium. That being said, let me now invite to the podium the Director General of the CSA, Mr. Josiah Joekai will make his presentation, and after that, we have to make the press conference interactive. Members of the press, I'm very sure you take down your questions. Members of the press will be required to ask their questions, so we'll now invite the Director General of the CSA to the podium. Mr. Joekai.
Thank you, Honorable Sano. Well, I just want to say that I am in compliance with the LACC's mandate for us to declare our assets, and I'm in the first category of people who declare before the first report was presented by the Executive Chairperson. Honorable IT Minister Tapa and my dear colleague, Honorable Sano, and the entire MICAT team, I want to express our gratitude to you for the opportunity that you continue to provide to us to use this historic platform to always keep the Liberian people informed about ongoing reforms at the civil service agency of our country. This is very helpful in ensuring that our people are informed every step of the way of each reform initiative. I also want to recognize the presence of the Director General of the Cabinet. Earlier I saw Councillor Bushman here, the President's lawyer. I want to recognize all other officials of government. I see the entire team here. Like Honorable Sanders said, today is a different kind of press briefing. We have a full house. I'm really honored to address this special briefing, this special section today. And I want to recognize you, our precious Fourth Estate, for the support you continue to provide to each of us having responsibility to deliver on the mandate of the people. I also want to recognize the illustrious professionals at the Civil Service Agency, my two Deputy Director Generals, Darlington A.P. Smith and Honorable Dano Miayen. Currently they are engaged with other important activities. That's why they're not here. Honorable Smith is supposed to be at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, engaging with the public administration sector of the development of our national development plan. And Honorable Miayen is also engaged with other activities. But the technical team is here. I also want to recognize their efforts for everything that they continue to do for our nation. Today's briefing is intended to update the media and the Liberian people in general on progress made since we last appeared here. As you may all know by now, our work at the CSA is statutory and is legal. We are the government of Liberia's entity responsible for managing the human resources, service delivery, effectiveness, and efficiency of the civil service, which entails planning human capacity needs, recruitment and selection, training and development, performance management, and career development of civil servants. Additionally, the CSA provides policy advice to the government of Liberia in key areas of public service, including organization, staffing, pay and benefits, pension, conditions of service, and human resources development. Ultimately, the CSA ensures that the Liberian civil service is competent, professional, and motivated, and that it meets the workforce needs of the government and delivers quality and efficient services to our nation. This mandate is not prescriptive, but also instructive, and we intend to fully execute it. In this respect, we will report on the following areas for today's briefing. Mobile money transaction discrepancies on the national payroll, blocking and suspension of 6,387 unverified individuals on the national payroll as recommended by the General Auditing Commission, blocking of 146 unverified employees of the Central Administration of the House of Representatives, and an update on the 2024 retirement and pension scheme. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, fellow Liberians, it saddens us to report that the CSA in its ongoing GOL payroll sanitization exercise has uncovered alarming discrepancies. There are individuals who have been trusted to do right by their conscience and country, but chose to deliberately defraud the nation. I know I have had several unpleasant days, weeks, and months, knowing how some of our compatriots have consistently plotted to exploit and deprive Liberians of basic social services that the state should provide through rightful use of your taxes, but that they have flaunted the same in our very eyes. The government of Liberia, cognizant of the challenges employees in rural areas face in accessing banking facilities and the costs associated with traveling to areas to access banks, roll out salary payments using mobile money transfer through Lone Star and Orange GSM companies. As part of our responsibilities to ensure that the GOL has a credible payroll, we reached out to the Attorney General to pray the Monrovia City Court for a writ of subpoena duces tecum to the two GSM companies to produce transaction histories of all salaries paid to GOL employees using their platforms. We are happy to report that the two companies are cooperating with us. Notably, Lone Star Cell MTN provided several months of payment transactions to the CSA. We have been assured by Orange through the Monrovia City Court that we will receive statements of recent transactions. For this briefing, my team decided to run an analysis of just July 2024. Here are the findings from the analysis. A total of 4,738 transactions were done both in Liberian dollar and United States dollar currencies. Of this amount, we were able to verify that only 3,884 transactions matched employees' names that were on the payroll and whose names also matched the names associated with the Lone Star MTN numbers. 166 individuals got paid part of their salaries in Liberian dollar via mobile money and the US dollar component through the banks. In other words, these employees were able to access their US dollar salaries at banks, but could not access the Liberian dollar component through the very banks. This category of payment represents 2.7 million Liberian dollars and 57,000 United States dollars monthly. Annualizing this amount will give you 33.1 million Liberian dollars and 684,630 and 84 cents United States dollars. That's the amount yearly we are paying to individuals who were made to believe can access part of their salary using banks and the other part using mobile money. Think about that. During our analysis, we also discovered that payments were made to agents and businesses. I repeat, during our analysis, we also discovered that payments were made to agents or businesses. 7 agents or businesses representing 22 transactions, totaling 294,000 Liberian dollars and 4,366 United States dollars. Multiplying this by 12 months, you will have 3.5 million Liberian dollars and 52,000 United States dollars. That's the amount yearly we have been paying from our payroll account to businesses. To businesses, not individuals, not employees. I want you to think about that. Alarmingly, a whopping 205 and 223, a mix of Liberian dollar and United States dollar, individuals got paid for July via mobile money, but are nowhere to be found on the national payroll. Monthly, we have been paying 3 million Liberian dollars and 47,550 United States dollars. Yearly, this amounts to 36.9 million Liberian dollars and 570,600 United States dollars. Another category of transaction is names of individuals on the payroll do not match with names associated with mobile money accounts. For example, the name on the payroll is Josiah F. Joekai Jr., whereas the name associated with the mobile money account is Ellen Peters. I'm sorry if anyone here or their family members has that name, Ellen Peters. but I'm sure you get a point. Now, this category represents up to 220 transactions monthly, a total of 1.3 million Liberian dollars and 27,543 United States dollars are paid from our GOL mobile money payroll to these people. Multiply that by 12 months, a total of 15.7 million Liberian dollars and 330,516 United States dollars are being paid just in this category. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, distinguished colleagues, fellow Liberians, I am sure you are now thinking to yourself, how is this even possible? Is he just throwing numbers out there? No, I'm not. These records are available and will be made public in the coming days. Names of businesses involved will be exposed. Masterminds will be named, and those used to carry out this malicious act will be shamed and forwarded for investigation. Now, let me paint the real picture here after calling all these numbers. Annually, the government has lost, I'm not saying we're lost, the government has lost already 89.3 million Liberian dollars and 1.6 million United States dollars to these discrepancies. The following is at the moment decided. Actions that we've taken. 1, the 166 individuals receiving part of their salaries through mobile money and the other part through banks will be blocked immediately pending further notice. And that action is ongoing as I speak to you. Our team is blocking them already. The 220 whose names on the payroll don't match those associated with mobile money accounts will also be blocked effective immediately. That action is ongoing as I speak to you. The 7 agent businesses that have received payments to their accounts will be turned over to the appropriate authority for further investigation. Individuals responsible for sending salaries to 223 mobile money accounts but are not on the payroll will be forwarded to the relevant authority for investigation. A total, in essence, a total of 613 names on the payroll will be blocked effective immediately until further investigation and or verification is carried out. Fellow citizens, a national compliance audit of the government of Liberia's payroll was conducted by the General Auditing Commission covering the period between 2018 and 2021. In 2022, the report, among other things, revealed that 9,287 employees or individuals representing 13% of the workforce and receiving US 3.7 million monthly could not be verified during the exercise. That's in 2022, GAC report, not CSA. A 90-day post-audit verification exercise was also conducted as an opportunity for the concerned employees to be verified. During that process, only 2,900 were verified and showed up, in essence. Since then, 6,387 remain unverified. The government continues to lose a staggering $2.5 million to these potential hosts, representing about 9% of the total workforce. May I hasten to point out that these verification exercises are all mandatory. The Auditor General therefore recommended in the audit report that these unverified individuals should be temporarily blocked. In the Auditor's General recommendation, it maintained that, quote, The Office of Controller and Accountant General, that's the CAG, will place a moratorium on salaries of all employees. The need is 6,387, not verified during the fiscal verification exercise and for whom legitimate excuses were not provided. Consequently, fellow citizens, the CSA has blocked the 6,387 potential ghosts on the payroll, pending a 2-month verification, after which they will be permanently removed from the payroll if not verified. Although this action is very belated due to the insensitivity and inaction of the previous government, it, however, demonstrates the CSA and Ministry of Finance and Development Planning's commitment to curbing waste and abuse in public resources, sanitizing the national payroll, and bringing to book unscrupulous individuals who continue to loot the national treasury. As a final effort to ensure those blocked have the opportunity to provide evidence as to why they should not be blocked from the payroll, an additional 60 days has been granted for them to verify their status. This exercise commenced on September 2nd, 2024, and is expected to run through November 4th, 2024. Therefore, those unverified will be permanently removed from the national payroll if not verified during this period. At some point, and very soon, the CSA and the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning will, in categorical terms, inform the Liberian people about the amount of money that has been wasted or spent on ghosts, fake news, double dippers, getting salaries from 2 or more spending entities, payrolls, and those I like to refer to as living ghosts. They are the ones who are legitimately employed but refuse to show up to work for getting paid for work not done. We remain very relentless in this endeavor, and we ask the media and all well-meaning Liberians to support us as we try to fix the problems and build this country. We are CSA, we cannot do it alone. In continuation of the ongoing headcount and fiscal verification exercise, a team from the CSA conducted a scene with employees of the Central Administration of the House of Representatives. During the exercise, a total of 146 employees on the payroll could not be verified and have therefore been blocked pending further verification. We'd like to, at this point, recognize the cooperation and support of the leadership of the House of Representatives through its Rules, Order, and Administration Committee during the process of the headcount exercise. In our next briefing, we will report on the outcomes of the verification and headcount exercises conducted at the central administrations of the House of Representatives and the Honorable Liberian Senate. On Monday, August 26, 2024, the CSA, in collaboration with the National Social Security and Welfare Corporation, NASCO, commenced a national pre-retirement counseling workshops and data collection exercise for soon-to-be retired employees of the government. The exercise, which is taking place across the country, has seen employees from 10 out of 15 counties attending. So far, 809 potential retirees have come forward and participated in the exercise. In Montserrado County, the Monrovia Vocational Training Center on Somalia Drive and the VIP entrance of the Samuel Kine Sports Complex in Pennsville account for 309 potential retirees so far. Grand through the Lofa counties have processed 129 and 107 employees respectively. The The purpose of this exercise is to ensure that prospective pensioners or retirees phase out of active service with the government and provide them with the necessary tools and information needed to begin the retirement phase of their lives. The CSA and NASCOP intends to ensure that this exercise also serves the purpose of post-career counseling for prospective retirees. We have communicated with the speaker, that's with respect to the hair count that was conducted, and the President pro tempore of the Liberian Senate to instruct their respective human resource directors to inform prospective retirees to take advantage of this exercise. About 2,000 employees across all 103 spending entities of the government are expected to be retired in fiscal year 2024. The CSA will hasten to remind all heads of spending entities that retirement is not optional, as contained in Section 3.5.1 of the Standing Orders of the Civil Service, which states, quote, unless ordered otherwise by government, every employee shall be compulsorily retired at age 60 or after a minimum of 25 years of service as specified under Section 1 of the Government Employees Pension Act, unquote. Only the CSA can and may decide if anyone after attaining the age of 60 or 65 years or having served for more than 25 consecutive years can continue to work in government and remain on government's payroll. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the civil service plays a crucial role in ensuring the effective functioning of the government by recruiting qualified individuals to fill various public sector roles. However, a reliable, transparent, and efficient mechanism for testing and evaluating potential candidates is essential to maintaining high standards of public service. The proposed testing center will streamline the recruitment process, enhance transparency, and promote meritocracy in the public sector. The primary objectives of establishing the National Civil Service Testing Center are: 1, to provide a standardized and fair testing environment for all civil service applicants, to ensure a transparent, efficient, and merit-based recruitment process, to improve the quality of civil service recruitment by utilizing modern testing technologies and methodologies, to reduce administrative burden and costs associated with the traditional testing process. The establishment of a dedicated National Civil Service Testing Center is a vital step towards ensuring a fair, efficient, and transparent recruitment process for civil service positions. By investing in modern testing facilities and technologies, the government can enhance public confidence in the civil service, improve the quality of its workforce, and promote merit-based recruitment practices. We are working with stakeholders to source funding for the procurement of needed items to equip the center. Mr. IT Minister, the DG of the Cabinet, other officials of government, it is always a pleasing honor to speak to our people, informing them about all of the challenges we are faced with daily, but it's also important to report gains we continue to make along the way. We took on this job knowing the latent challenges, especially dealing with practices that have somewhat managed to be normalized, like double dipping, ghost names, and etc., etc. But because we are convinced that true change must start with us, we are prepared to be labeled, well, insulted, or misrepresented, and marginalized, but will remain very relentless and focused on the task at hand. Internal gratitude to His Excellency Joseph Yuma Joekai Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia, for the opportunity to lead a charge of ensuring that our civil service is one of decency, integrity, commitment, and dedication. With respect to the National Civil Service Testing Center, I can assure you that in the next 1 month and a half, we will be presenting to the nation, and the President of the Republic is going to be doing that on behalf of the government, a modern National Civil Service Testing Center, very equipped with all modern testing technologies. As a matter of fact, the CSA has automated the testing system with all of the job families, prescribed job families, classified job families in the civil service. And that system is going to be rolled out, and it will be officially announced by His Excellency in a month and a half from now. Meaning that His Excellency, when he cuts the ribbon on the new National Testing Center, will also announce to the public the lifting of the freeze on new hiring, and the President will also inform the country about the responsibility of every qualified person to present their certificate, which is the result of the testing that they will do before they can even initiate any hiring process in our public service. You will have to be computer literate. That's the first requirement. We're not responsible for that. You have to prepare yourself by making sure you are computer literate. You want a job in the public service in the coming months, you got to start going to computer school, because you will sit before the computer, write your test, remain there and get graded. Your results come to you. If you fail, it tells you failed with your results. If you pass, it tells you pass. And if you pass, your automated certificate signed by the Director General will also come to you and will be automatically sent to your email. And it will also be printed by the administrator in the testing room and given to you. Once you receive your certificate, then you can now go to begin the job search. But without that, don't go to any entity or don't talk to anybody regarding job issues. You have to prepare yourself in a few months from now. This is part of our reform of the public service to bring decency, integrity to public service, so that government can have the deserving potential, the deserving efficiency, the capabilities to be able to to deliver on the mandate of the people. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this time to thank MICAT once more, the DG for coming, and all other officials of government here for the opportunity. You, the media, thank you so profoundly for this opportunity.
So it is important to announce that we have just 30 minutes left, because EFBC is going live on TV and radio. It is important for the Liberian people who are following us in Radio Land to also get to know the development here. So you have 30 minutes. We will take the questions. Please, we have to be as brief as possible. To ask the question, the two speakers are here. The LACC board had to leave because she had an engagement. The two speakers are here. Please put your question to them. Show you got issues?
Yeah, we put the LACC.
Right question I was sent to. I'm going to repeat the question to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Please follow instruction. We don't want history. We don't want compound complex question. Deal with the issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity for coming. My name is Chairperson for Spoon FM and Spoon Network. A quick concern. You spoke of lacking more than 600 persons, 6,000 persons on the payroll. But you didn't tell us those who were on the mobile money condition, how much, maybe a minimum of how much they were receiving maybe 125 or maybe 50 or $20 from government, and again, you didn't mention any entity or institution, spending entity you are taking these people from. I guess that all the government institutions, I know that there are some institutions that are exempted from this entire initiative, and to the Bureau of State, thank you for coming. But you did mention that non-compliance is one of the issues that is impeding your work. And you said that the president has given you a new mandate to carry on. So how confident are we that you will have results for this new mandate that you have?
Thank you. Quickly. So my name is Desmond Nguyen, and I report for Martin TV. My concern goes to the CSS boss. You said the total amount of the discrepancy in the health, which is $89.3 million, and that of the US company is $1.6 million USD. And he said that is the money government has lost over the time. And we have previous administrations, for the sake of precision, what all this money government lost during the region of the former CDC or prior to CDC taking over. That's one. And my other concern goes to the BSO, that's the Bureau of State Enterprises, or the BSE, sorry. So you said 18 of those engaged SOE, state-owned enterprises, now have complied. I mean, has there been any reason why out of the 18, the remaining are not compliant, or better still, are we hopeful that they are going to comply in the coming days? And lastly, to Deputy Minister Sando, the issue about compliance, I mean, in your government, the United Party government, we listened to the LACC boss. He said there are lots of government officials who are yet to comply with the issue about these, I mean, or state, or let's say declaration of assets. And we're also now hearing from the director there, which is Director Archer, also talking about the issue of non-compliance. Where are we with the United Party government, where in public officials are, I mean, it's so difficult to comply with state policy issues? How can you react to this coming from your government officials in your region? Thank you.
Okay, anybody want to retire?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I am Daniel S. Davis, journalist and prospective retired VP of the Ministry of Information. My question is circled around the memorandum, circular memorandum issued to ministries and agencies aimed at dislodging people who have worked tirelessly for their own country without following the protocol and the rule laid down by the government of Liberia. We state that the circular explained demand that as of July 31st, all prospective employees will leave their place of work, and their pension benefit will be replaced by 3 months state-owned salary, which is a totally violation of the retirement law of the Republic of Liberia. So I want to ask the Director General where or what his standing or legal provision in replacing pension package for stay home, knowing very well that people have been underpaid. And the law is very clear that you, Director General, you must make request to the Minister of Finance that will be allotment for retirees. The process is tender because graduating from full employment, going to be retired, according to the law, it has some difficulty and stress. So the pension package is tender to quench the tension and the stress. And it have 4 components. From year 1 to year 24, $350 United States dollars must be given. From year 25 to 29, 500 United States must be given. And from 29 to 39, 700 must be given. Anything above 40 or 1,000 must be given. But rather than that, knowing the constraint, the low salary, you harmonize my pay and now harmonize your food, you are aware enough, but you judge it and bring your own undefined. Contrary to the rule of law, what is your reliance?
Thank you.
What is your reliance towards that?
Thank you. What is the reliance? The legal reliance. Thank you.
Legal reliance.
Good afternoon, my name is Cllr Phillips. I'm representing the newspaper. I have two questions for the CSA Director General, Joekai. I know you talk about, who's in the period, but this issue we want to understand. You talk about the last time working with banks across Liberia to show civil servants can get half of the pay before the end of the month. And we started with the Echo Bank. How far have we gone with other banks you said we initiated LACC? Thank you.
My name is James M. and I am report for Greater Chairperson in Massaquoi County. I am our CSA boss. Chief, all of your actions I understand will be using the CSA law across the country. But one question I want to ask you from the CSA law is, are there hard copies be given to civil servants across the country that which they are needed know of formulating their actions of the day? And the next one has to do with LACC. LACC, you made mentions of our government employees, especially those who are appointed by the president. Currently, those who have failed to carry on the declarations of assets, some of them will be sanctioned, some of them will be suspended. Is that law also going to apply with our senators and representatives who are being employed by their citizens in that period constituency? Thank you.
Well, my name is Charles Johnson and I report for LBC. My question goes to the CSA boss. I want to know if the CSA is involved with the cut of salaries. Why? If yes, why? Give me some reason why is the civil service cutting salary.
Thank you. It's something very clear.
Yes. When I say cutting salary, for instance, I'm an example. My salary, the US and the LD has been cut for 2 months. August will be 3 months if it is done. And I asked at my workplace, HR said to me, it's the civil service. So I'm asking you, is the civil service doing this? If yes, why?
Thank you.
You got more, right?
Got more.
Let me bring
Yeah, please. Yeah.
He took just
Okay. All right, sure. Yeah. It won't be long. It won't be long. It will be short. Yeah. Thank you so much. We'll start with Charles Johnson, the last guy. Charlie, your answer is straightforward. No, we're not cutting salaries. But in the event that there are issues with your salary payment in terms of, realizing a reduction or whatever, if you to understand exactly how that will occur. And there's always room for retroactive payments. I mean, people here are aware that we usually write as the Ministry of Finance to restore what you lost. So we have a platform for that. On the issue of hard copies of laws to civil servants, we have structure, as you may know. We have organizational structure. Each spending entity has the head of entity, the structure, you have the HR. The HRs are working directly with the CSA. They have all the laws that are shared with all their employees. In fact, the HR is the first point of contact, it's not CSA. So if there is any issue about not understanding certain actions or decisions made by the CSA, the HR engages with us. And we are always hoping to engage with employees of different spending entities to address their concerns. So I cannot stand here and tell you whether or not there is a concern you know about, whether or not we address that concern. I can't tell you, but what I can tell you is that we have platform to address every concern. In fact, for the first time, when we took over, we requested the president to constitute the appeals board. The appeals board never existed for 18 years. It was not just about the previous administration, but 18 years it did not exist. So employees who went through the examining process, if they were faced with wrong dismissal, wrong suspension, and decisions were made, it was final. So they never had appeals board to take their appeals to address their situation, but we constituted the appeals board. It's functional. And you have so many civil servants right now that are accessing that opportunity for due process. And ministries, heads of entities are coming to the CSA and engaging with the complainants. So we have that platform to address grievances and complaints. We have that, which is independent. I don't get involved. We have a separate body that's responsible for that independently. And it's ongoing. We are even addressing cases that have been backlogged for years. That's ongoing. So banks with 3% interest, yes. So in fact, as a matter of fact, we are about to have another meeting with the remaining commercial banks to ask them where they are with the development of their products. Many of the banks, like I said, we met with them after CSA and EcoBank launched the scheme, and employees are benefiting through their salary deposit accounts with EcoBank. We immediately brought the remaining banks together, 5 of them, and we told them it was a policy, so we want them to implement the same salary advance 50%. They all agree. Many of them said they could do it readily, but they wanted to do exactly what EcoBank did by developing the automated system, so that when you are in your home, say like 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and you need money, you don't have to wait for day to break. You just go on your phone and dial something like EcoBank *326#, and then the prompt comes asking you how much. You just put in, if it is 200, if it is 250, you put in, and then you walk down to the ATM and get your money. So all of them say they want to do the same thing. Some of them gone far, some gone like 80% with developing their product, some gone like 75%. So we will be calling them soon to update us on where they are and when we can launch their different schemes. So yes, we are on course with that. And we are hoping that maybe in the next 1 month or 1 month and a half, we can have the various commercial banks providing the services for their customers who are our civil servants, having salary deposit accounts with them. We'll address that. So the issue of my dear brother, the handshake issue package, I want to tell you that everything we're doing is consistent with LACC, but you are right about the package handling aspect of it. When the government took over, we all know that resource constraint is a major issue. And so what we decided to do was not to wait for the Ministry of Finance to source funding well, which is a serious constraint at this point. So we decided that, okay, instead of you working, you can stay home, and the accumulated 3 months salary can constitute your handshake. But something that we've never done before is what we are doing. As of November 1, if you are to be retired, it's almost going to be seamless, because as of November 1, immediately your active account is not going to work. Your pension account is immediately going to become active as of November 1. So that you have no issues that people have been having in the past with the issue of payment. That's why the pre-retirement counseling is going on. The question you ask here, I really wish you can go to SKD or MVTC. The process is going on. It's going to continue until September 13th. Nobody can miss it. That's why we extended the time. It's very long. If you miss it today because you are here, tomorrow morning just go to SKD or go to MVTC. All these questions you're asking here will be addressed. Even the reliances you're asking. We have the experts at these centers across the country addressing all of these issues. And the reason is that we want people to retire honorably. That's why we have the pre-retirement counseling that we've never had easily in this country. People were just automatically informed that they are retired, period. And in fact, people were retired but many years back and have never accessed benefits. What this government is doing is new. We are taking people from back as far as 2020 who retired and have not received any retirement benefits. We are enrolling all of them. All of them, we are enrolling them so that as of November 1st, they all will have retirement, have pension accounts, and they will begin to receive their retirement benefits. Total discrepancies. You asked whether or not this covers the period of the previous government or the current or both. Yes, even the current. As I was speaking to you, I reported for July. I don't know my brother who asked the question, but I reported for July. It tells you that at this point, from the previous administration to this point, these people are still receiving money through these dubious means. They are still receiving it. The businesses, the 7 businesses that I spoke about, those businesses in July alone, those businesses are 7. They are only supposed to receive 2 transactions per month, US dollar and Liberian dollar. But guess what happened? Some of them received 4 transactions. They were even paid 4 times, 3 times, not in keeping with our payment timeline. No, something is definitely wrong. Some receive 2 times, some receive 3 times. That's something that should bother all of us in this room. So it is not just the previous administration, it continues because the system is there. The payroll is on the payroll. Now we got to take it from the payroll. And some of these things we are making it public because the negative ad peddlers and the politicians 24/7, they are out there deceiving the public because probably they are the ones benefiting from these criminal activities. But the vast majority of people are not aware of the intricacies. They don't know the details. So we have to come here to provide the details. The fact is that many of these people are at home, not working, but receiving alerts, receiving pay. Many of them are out of the country. We know that because we see that CSA receiving pay and not working. Those who are in this country working, struggling to support the efforts of the government to work for their country, they are then receiving legal resources. Where do we get money from to improve their wages, their salaries? Where do we get it from when people who are not working are taking it? We got to take stringent measures. We are aware that change doesn't come easily. We know that it's going to be difficult. But we are also aware that when we do it together, we will succeed. So mobile money, individuals, how much they are receiving. I know it's Strokan who asked this question. Today we're supposed to be doing a PowerPoint presentation here. The minister knows we're supposed to be showing you the matrices of all the things I talk about. In fact, the 6,387 we have. How do we block the people when we don't know them? How do we block the accounts? Obviously, we have all the accounts that we're blocking the people. We even said to you that we'll make the names of the 7 businesses public. The reason why we don't want to announce the 7 businesses right now, because when we leave from here and go back to the office, we are going to be writing letters ensuring that they are forwarded to the appropriate authorities for investigation. So we don't want to short-circuit our legal processes that are going to ensue immediately we leave this press conference. But people will have to be held accountable. We are aware that in the not too distant future also that we will have a global recommendation for prosecution, but there will be layers. First, the people who mandated these discrepancies, they have to be prosecuted. Second, the people who are implementing these discrepancies will have to be prosecuted. But we need to take our time to get them so that they don't escape. So it's a gradual process. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. From the Bureau of State Enterprise, I think all of the questions come to one, non-compliance. The 2 questions that were asked center around non-compliance, and there are many reasons, and basically the 2 fundamental reasons would be the lack of political will on the part of government and a strong sanction regime. Fortunately for us, we do have a strong political will to institute measures and policies across SOEs. How are we going to do that? We, as the DG said, we have established a joint committee with the GC with the objective of coming up with policies and guidelines, regulations to do away with most of the lapses that have been occurring. We're also heavily getting involved in change management. For decades, SOEs are seen as operating silos. So to change people's mindset coming to these days, a whole different ballgame. That's why we're working along with TC to have this thing done. I think basically that's the question that came from SOE for non-compliance. And for now, that's the answer. The technical team will continue to update you on information as it comes.
The LACC submitted a report of which we must commend the government. The report that is published by the LACC today showcases the government's commitment to ensuring transparency and accountability in public sector government. Why do I say so? When private individuals are appointed to public offices, there has to be a line of dichotomy between what you earn in your private life and why you come into government. A significant number of individuals from the executive branch of government, as appointed by the president, are in compliance, in keeping with the report that is published by the LACC today. So the Congress asks a question, why are people not in compliance? Apparently, the figures announced by the LACC boss, they didn't catch your attention. Maybe you need to go on the website to read it. For example, the team of senior managers here at MICAT will all declare our assets. My name is published here. IT Minister John Takwati is published. Minister Jeremy Pian is published. Matthew Yinklin is published. So we are in conformity with the law. What happens to others who have not complied? The president has insisted, in fact has made it a policy of the government, that all those who are appointed to positions in the government must be in compliance with the law. And that's why even when the window closed, you saw there was a huge number of officials from the executive who moved into the LACC and declared their assets. We want to commend those who have done so. As for those who have not done so, it is important that you do so, because the president is taking this seriously. On the second question as to whether punishment for non-adhering to the LACC asset declaration will be extended to members of the legislature, I can't speak to that. They are a separate branch of government, and I'm coming from a separate branch of government. I can't speak for the legislature. But as she also indicated in the report, some members of the Senate and House of Representatives are in compliance. Maybe the LACC has to encourage people to be in full compliance by increasing the level of sensitization and awareness. The numbers you are reading today on the website, the numbers that are being announced today, has never happened before. For a government that is just a little over 7 months old, to see significant member of the number from the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive go to declare, it's unprecedented. It is part of the change package that the government represents. So we will commend those who have done so. For those who have not done so, the president is taking it serious, and he has indicated at the level of cabinet that every official of the government should declare their assets. It should be in full compliance. There should be no excuse for that. On that note, let me commend the Bureau of State-Owned Enterprises, headed by Mr. Massaquoi, a veteran Liberian journalist, and the Civil Service Agency, our own friend, Mr. Josiah Joekai. Today is Mr. Massaquoi's first time. I'm sure it's not going to be a last time. The Bureau of State-Owned Enterprises is now in the spotlight. We listened to some of the questions about compliance. So with your joint committee along with the Governance Commission, the public will be interested in knowing the level of progress you're going to make after the president mandates. This platform is always prepared to have you. Mr. Joekai, would like to thank you on behalf of the Ministry of Information family for always making maximum use of our platform. Our media friends, thank you ever so much. We are very grateful for the sacrificial services to offer for our country. Let us work together